Good day, everyone. We are the Group 6, and our topic is American literature. American literature tells the story of America's history, struggles, and culture from the colonial period up to the 21st century. In this report, we divided the discussion into 9 parts, so each of us will share how literature changed through time. So get ready to listen closely and join us as we explore the exciting world of American literature. So, let's begin. What is American literature? American literature, in the beginning, America was still a British colony, so early writings were heavily influenced by British style. But as time passed, American literature developed its own unique voice. It reflects the culture, struggles, and diversity of the United States. In short, American literature is a mirror of the American experience.
Colonial and early writings. During the colonial period, most writings were practical. They include diaries, travel accounts, sermons, and political essays. For example, Captain John Smith wrote A True Relation of Virginia, describing colonial life. Political writers like Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Paine, and Thomas Jefferson used their works to inspire unity and independence. These writings even influenced the U.S. Constitution. So, early American literature was both a guide for daily living and the foundation for the nation's identity.
Early 19th century writers. As America became independent, writers started focusing on American landscape and themes. Washington Irving gave us classics like R.P. Van Winkle and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, while James Fenimore Cooper wrote The Last of Mohicans. These stories create national heroes and the legends that were distinctly American. They helped the country develop its own literary tradition, separate. Dark Romantics. Not all writers celebrated the light side of life. The Dark Romantics explore sin, guilt, and human weakness. Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Raven and the Fall of the House of Usher. Nathaniel Harton wrote The Scarlet Letter, and Herman Melville give us Moby Dick. Their works showed the darker side of human nature, using symbolism and mystery. This period reminded readers that literature can also explore fear, guilt, and obsession.
19th century poets. Two of the greatest poets of the 19th century were Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson. Whitman, through his book Leaves of Grass, celebrated freedom, democracy, and the American spirit. Emily Dickinson, on the other hand, wrote short and personal poems about life, death, and emotions. Whitman spoke loudly to the nation, while Dickinson spoke softly to the soul. Together, they showed two powerful voices in American poetry.
Realism. After Romanticism, literature shifted toward realism. This movement focused on everyday life instead of imagination. Mark Twain, in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, used humor and real speech to portray American life. Henry James wrote about psychology and social conflicts. Realism helped literature feel authentic. It sounded like real people talking and showed ordinary struggles, not just idealized stories.
In the 20th century, American writers experimented with style and tackled social issues. Upton Sinclair exposed corruption in the jungle. Edward Bellamy and Henry Adams discussed politics and education. After World War I, writers expressed disillusionment, which we call the Lost Generation. F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, showed how the American dream could lead to disappointment. This period revealed both progress and the problems of modern society.
21st century literature. As we enter the 21st century, American literature has become more democratic and global. Writings now explore identity, diversity, and social issues. Suzanne Lee Collins, author of The Hunger Games, show themes of war, survival, and media control. Her works, along with many others, prove that modern literature continues to reflect the struggle of today's world. Genres like memoirs, nonfiction, and short stories have also become more popular.
Summary: To conclude, American literature was grown from colonial writings influenced by Britain to a strong independence in a global voice. Each period reflects society of its time, from struggle or the independence to question about morality, to the dreams and disappointment of American dreams and finally to the global issue of today. Truly, literature is not just about story, it's a living voice of America across history.
The Last of the Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper. A long time ago, during the French and Indian War in 1757, the forests of America were filled with danger. Soldiers fought for land and native tribes were divided, some helping the French, others the British. In these troubled times, two young women, Cora and Alice Munro, needed to travel through the wilderness to see their father, Colonel Munro, who was in charge of Fort William Henry. With them was Major Duncan Howard, a brave soldier assigned to protect them. They trusted their native guide Magua, but what they did not know was the Magua was a traitor. He secretly hated Colonel Monroe and planned to deliver the women into enemy hands. Before Magua could succeed, help arrived. Out of the deep forest came three allies. Hakea, a skilled white scout who knew every path and tree in the wilderness. Chingachgook, a wise Mohican chief. Uncas, Chingachgook, strong and noble son Dallas, heir of the Mohican people. Together, they fought bravely to protect the sisters. They traveled through forests, rivers, and hidden trails, escaping battles and ambushes. Along the way, friendships grew between them, showing that courage and loyalty were stronger than race or origin. But the journey was filled with danger. Magua would not give up. He captured Cora and tried to force her into his power. In a final, tragic battle, Uncas rushed to save her, fighting with all his strength. But fate was cruel. Both Uncas and Cora were killed. At the end, Chingachgook stood over his son's grave, mourning deeply. Hawkeye's loyal friend stayed beside him. Now, the old chief was truly the last of his people, the last of the Mohicans. Though the tale ends in sorrow, it remains a story of bravery, sacrifice, and friendships that cross cultures in a time of war.